I tell you? They're all like that.
Gambling. These things aren't a gamble, they're a sure thing. Nobody wins but the guy that owns them.
If our luck holds out, he won't.
Nice work.
That's 28 this week, Chief. Would you like to have a look at the stuff we brought in from the east side?
No, I won't. Not on Saturday afternoons, anyway. See you later, boys.
Oh, never mind. He just came in. I've been telephoning all over for you.
I haven't been all over. What's up?
Mr. Wakefield has been trying to reach you for the last hour.
And who is Mr. Wakefield?
Oh, he says he's the mouthpiece for that slot machine mob the boys just picked up. He says it's important.
To him or to me?
I'd imagine to him.
That's what I'd imagine.
Shall I get him on the phone?
Yes. The first thing Monday morning. Right now, I'm waiting for a more important caller. My life may belong to my job, but my Saturday afternoons belong to Bill.
I know, but are you going to let that gang sit in jail over the weekend?
Why not? At least we'll know where they are.
Hello, Dad. May I come in?
Well, looks like you're already in.
Oh, Miss Purcell. Hello, Bill.
Who tied your necktie, young fella?
Some guy necktie.
Don't let him tease you, Bill.
I don't mind him.
That's just the trouble. Nobody minds me. Well, are you hungry?
And how?
Well, what would you like to eat?
Hot dogs.
What, again? You're always asking for hot dogs.
Yeah, and I never get them.
Well, I'll go wash up. And you take good care of Percy while I'm gone.
What do you call you Percy for?
Well, I guess it's short for Purcell.
But Percy's a girl's name.
Well, I'm a girl.
That's right. There's a fellow at school named Percy. Leastwise, his mother calls him Percy. We call him Stinky.
Oh, that isn't very nice.
Gosh, no. But you ought to smell him.
May I ask where you gentlemen are going this afternoon?
Shopping, I suppose. You know what Dad's going to get me? A rifle. Exactly like his.
Isn't that nice? He's a pretty good father, I'd say.
You bet he's all right. A fellow doesn't have an old man like him every day.
Who's an old man? Why, you young menace. When you're twice my size, I'll still be able to take you apart.
He's not so tough.
You don't work for him.
I'll see you Monday.
Remember me to your mother.
I will.
Goodbye, Bill.
Goodbye, Percy.
You don't lead them enough. Let me try.
But I got one.
Yeah, but you missed 5.
Oh, gosh, can he shoot? How long do you think it'll be before I can shoot like that, Dad?
Well, now, it took me in the neighborhood of about 42 years. Shall we take this one?
Oh, gosh, yes.
His mother will hang draw and quarter me.
Do we have to tell her, Dad? I mean,
No.
right away?
Well, the best way to beat an issue, Bub, is to meet it.
Women sure are funny, though.
Well, a lot of men do and think so. How about some targets and shells?
Yes, I'll wrap this right up.
You're all right.
That's just what I was going to say about you, Dad. You think maybe it'll kill a bear?
Well, now, I don't think there's any bears around here.
But if there was a bear, do you think it would kill it?
Well, maybe a little small bear. You know, something tells me I'm going to have a lot of explaining to do to your mother.
I'm not afraid.
Well, I can understand that. But see, I'm a little older than you are. She's going to say that I ought to have more sense.
You got plenty of sense. Besides, what's she afraid of my having a rifle for?
I don't know, but she'll think of a reason. Well, we're in this together, Bub.
Right.
Don't you think you better leave that here, and then we can kind of sneak up on the subject gently?
Maybe we better head.
Yeah. Oh, Madge.
Ooh. Shucks, I might just as well bring it in.
You might as well. Hey, don't you run out on me now.
You know me, Dad.
Hello, Lucy. Mrs. Bruce around?
No, sir, she ain't. Left a couple hours ago. Land sakes, what you got now? Christmas comes 52 times a year in this here house.
It's a gun, exactly like Dad's.
A gun? What for you want a gun? My goodness, ain't there enough shooting in the world now?
Well, this is a nice gun, Lucy.
There ain't no nice guns. They shoots, that's why. Miss Bruce will want to blow the roof off when she hears about this. Yes, sir, and you knows it, too.
Don't you want to see it?
Me, I don't even want to hear about it.
What makes women that way, Dad?
Bub, psychologists and scientists have been asking each other that question for 1,000 years. Now, you run along, get washed up, and let your old man look at his mail. Sure, we could.
Do you think Mom would let us?
Mom? No, I don't think she'd mind.
What's the matter, Dad? Don't you feel good?
Sure, I feel swell, Bub.
Well, you look funny.
Well, maybe because I'm just a funny-looking fella. Would you like to do your old man a good turn?
What's the matter, Dad?
Nothing, Bub. I just thought maybe you'd run down the corner and get me an evening paper.
Sure. Is there anything else you want?
Nothing that you could bring me, Bub. Never mind setting a place for Mrs. Bruce.
Miss Bruce ain't coming home to dinner tonight?
Or any other night.
Oh? Oh, I thought something when I saw her take those bags.
What's the matter, Dad?
You let your daddy be son and come with me.
What's wrong with him, Lucy?
I guess he just don't feel good.
Has he got a headache?
He's got an ache, but I guess it's lower down in his head. But you come with me, honey. We got chocolate cake for supper.
Gee, I wish Mom would get here.
Yes, honey, I know. I expects we all does. But you come with me. I want to talk to you about that.
What burns me up is that you let her get away with it.
Did you ever try to make a woman love you that didn't?
No, but I'd certainly make it tough for any woman that ran out on me the way she ran out on you.
It's nearly 12:30, Mr. Bruce. Bill will be here any minute.
Well, I'll look in on you later.
No, don't go. I think I could stand about 3 tall ones at the club. Be a good Samaritan. Take the afternoon off. Do something with the boy, will you?
Of course. Only you haven't been out with him in a month.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Buy him a good lunch. Do the town. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Mind you do some studying now, bringing home C's and D's on your report card the way you been. Land's sakes, I don't know what ails that boy. Of course she does. You knows right well you do. What you want to lie for? You knows what ails them both. You's what ails them. You hear?
What was that?
Huh? That's me.
Well, what are you doing?
Just dusting.
You have to make so much noise? Why don't you go someplace else and dust?
Because this is where the dust is. And what's furthermore, don't give me no more of that jumping on. I got all I can stand now from the two of you. Land's sakes, I ain't done nothing.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lucy. I haven't been myself lately.
I know. That's what's eating me.
Lucy, I won't be home for dinner.
Expected you wouldn't. You ain't been in nearly a month.
Well, I just can't help it. Work has been piling up of late. Boy gone to school?
Person can't hardly tell no more.
What do you mean?
Well, it's school time, and he's carrying his books. That's where he belongs, unless he figures on playing hooky some more.
I'll have a talk with him.
Yes, why don't you? Phone him up one of these evenings. It only costs a nickel.
party?
A birthday party with candy and ice cream and cake.
What kind of cake?
Well, gee whiz, what difference does it make? All cakes are good, ain't they?
Do I have to bring you a present?
No, you don't have to. But if I were coming to a birthday party at your house, I'd bring you a present. Say, you know who's coming? Amy Johnson and Margie Smith.
What good is that?
Well, how can you have a party without girls?
I don't like girls.
And so I said, my goodness, Mother, how old does a person have to be before a person can use lipstick?
My mother would let me use lipstick if I wanted to. Well, my goodness, then why don't you? I don't want to.
Why?
Cause
why?
Because I want to remain young as long as I can.
Here, Betty.
Oh, boy, did you see her jump? Listen to them scream. They make me sick.
Just like my sister. All I did was to put a frog under her pillow. And gosh, you should have seen the fuss she was making. You'd think I was hurting her.
Where'd you get the frog?
Oh, I got places.
I'll take that if you don't mind. I kept you in during recess in order to catch up on your homework. Do you call this studying? Give me that.
What?
Whatever it was you were dangling out of the window,
I haven't got anything.
Neither have I.
you'll both stay after school.
Me too?
What for?
Oh, 100. Can I go now, Miss Hutter? I practically gotta go. This is my birthday.
If you're finished, you may go.
500 times. Gosh, Miss Hunter, I'll never get finished.
You should have thought of that, Bill.
But Bill was coming to my birthday party, weren't you, Bill?
Yeah, I was going to Larry's birthday party, Miss Hunter.
Larry, you may wait outside. Bill, I want to talk to you.
What, again?
Bill, you used to be one of the best boys in my class. Now you're one of the worst.
What'd I do?
Well, it's not so much what you do, it's what you don't do. You don't study, you don't behave, you have absolutely no concentration. You know perfectly well that you spend your entire time thinking up mischief. You're beginning to be a very bad influence on the rest of the boys and girls. Now, I've warned you before. If you don't improve, I'm going to talk to your father. Now, because it's Larry's birthday, you may go. And I'll see you later.
Later? Where?
I'm dropping in at Larry's party myself.
Oh, sorry.
Mary, I want that one for you. Look at the model, Lynn. It's a chemistry set. Gee, thanks, Jack.
Gee, I bet it could go 100 miles.
I bet it could go 1,000 miles.
Go on, it could not.
It could, too.
It could not.
How do you know?
Hello. You having a good time?
Yes.
That's fine.
Hello, everybody. Having fun?
Hiya, Dad.
Hello,
Yeah,
son.
boy, it's a chemistry set. Hey, open
Hello,
this
dear.
one, Dad.
You worn out?
Almost.
Oh, man.
I think I'll go get some ice cream.
Bill. Bill, I want to talk.
No sense washing them yet. Crying was for girls, I always heard.
Huh?
I said crying was for girls, I always heard.
Who's crying?
You mean those funny noises you was making ain't crying?
What do you care?
Well, you'd care if I was crying, wouldn't you? Seems to me a fellow ought to care about his neighbor's trials and tribulations.
Who are you?
Professor Johnson is the name. I'm a knight of the road. My dogs was barking so bad that when I heard this brook, I thought I'd better stop off a while and dunk 'em.
Dunk 'em?
Yeah, dunk 'em. You live around here?
Yeah.
What's ailing you, Sonny?
Nothing.
Oh, now. Seems like a fella don't cry about nothing. Leastways, no, he fella does. Wouldn't be girl trouble now, would it?
And I hate girls, and I hate women, too.
Well, you're a lot wiser now than I was at 30. Did your ma cane you?
I ain't got a mom.
Oh. Mine died when I was about your age, too.
Mine ain't dead. She left us.
Well, now we're getting somewhere. Who's us?
Me and my dad.
Oh, what ails your dad? What's wrong with him?
Nothing. He's the greatest dad in the whole world. Leastwise, he was.
He ain't anymore, huh?
I guess he just don't feel good. That's what Lucy says.
You know what? You gotta kind of balance a heavy heart with a full stomach. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna whip up a mess of mulligan, and you and me's gonna have a snack. And then while we're eating, we can talk this thing over, you know, kind of like a committee. That's it, a Ways and Means committee. You hungry?
No.
Well, now, son, by the time you've gathered up enough wood to make a great big rip-snorting fire, you will be. Get going.
Okay. Gee, you've been pretty nearly almost everywhere, haven't you?
Yep, and covered a lot of territory.
Why do they call you Professor?
Oh, I expect because I used to be one.
Like a school teacher?
More like a doctor, I suppose. Did you ever hear of Johnson's recuperative root restorative and balsam balm? I can see you never did. Anyway, that's me.
Bill! Oh, Bill!
That's Dad. Here I am, Dad!
Your pop?
Yeah.
Now listen, son. You remember what I told you. There ain't no cure in the world like a hair of the dog that bit you.
A hair of the dog that bit you.
That's right. See, a fella has him a pup, and he thinks a heap of that pup, and then one day something happens to him, and he feels terrible. Well, if he right away gets him another pup, then he don't feel so bad. Or if a man has him a big head from too much carousing, well, the next morning he feels terrible. And the next morning, a wee drop of the same stuff that gave him the big head makes him feel better. It's the same way with women. You understand?
Sure, if a fellow loses one woman, you get him another one. Then he don't feel so bad about it.
That's right. Well, he never knowed it to fail.
But what if I was to try this, and Dad was to get sore at me?
Listen, Sonny, if a fella does the right thing, and he knows way down inside him he's doing the right thing, there ain't no reason for him to be scared of nothing. You remember that. Just listen to the old professor.
You bet.
And, Sonny, especially remember that business about being right. Inside.
Where in the world have you been?
I didn't know you'd be home, Dad.
Home? Why, I've been...
Professor Emeritus K. Johnson, sir. Discoverer of Rawley's Ready Remedy and Spasm Relief. At your service.
He's swell, Dad.
Out of the mouths of babes come words of wisdom.
This is my father.
How do you do, sir? And a very likely lad you have there.
I'm glad he's safe.
If you'd care to bend your lip around a mess of mulligan, I think there's a mite left over.
It's stew and good. You make it in a can.
Oh, I'm sure it's swell. But Lucy's been worried sick. We better be getting back.
Aw, gee, Dad, it's early yet, and the professor knows a lot of swell stories.
Early when you're young and full of vim and vigor. No, Sonny, I guess it ain't as early as you think. You better run along home now. And don't forget what the old professor told you.
All right, and thanks a lot for the swell stew.
Not at all. The world looks better on a full belly.
Good night, Professor. And thanks for taking care of the boy.
Not at all. Goodbye, Sonny.
Goodbye, Professor.
It's lucky I know your hangouts, or I never would have been able to find you.
You know what? Warts ain't caused by frogs. Leastwise, that's what the professor says.
Pretty smart man, I take it, this professor of yours.
He's awful smart. I like him. You know what he says? He says that some people can't help what they do, and nobody's really all wrong. Not 100%. I mean, not even women.
What brought that on?
Nothing. Leastwise, nothing special. I mean, we was just talking.
Oh.
Dad, she's kind of pretty, ain't she?
Isn't she?
Oh, yeah, I mean, isn't she?
So don't you think it's about time we got to bed?
Yeah, I just finished.
How do you feel?
I feel swell. I remember when we used to do this all the time.
That's right. We did, didn't we?
I'll be with you in a minute, Dad. What's your name?
Margaret.
Are you married?
Why, no.
Why don't you call on us sometime? You like my father, don't you?
Of course I do. Why, Bill?
Do you like me?
Of course I do. I think you're swell.
I was just thinking, if I was a girl, I'd want to get married.
Well, confidentially, Bill, all girls do.
Why don't you marry my father?
Bill.
He's an awful nice guy.
I know he is.
Well, why don't you?
Well, I guess for two reasons.
What are they?
For one thing, he hasn't asked me.
Oh, don't worry about that. I'll take care of that.
And for another, I'm engaged to be married to someone else.
No kidding?
It's the truth.
Darn it.
Why, Bill, do you want a mother that badly?
I don't care so much about a mother, but I think my dad should have a wife. You know, sort of a hair of the dog that bit him.
Hi, Bill. Hi, Larry. Where are you going? No place.
I don't have to go to school tomorrow.
How come?
Because my sister's got the measles.
Gee, that's swell. I wish I had a sister.
You're lucky you ain't got one.
But you don't have to go to school tomorrow. She's got the measles.
Shucks, I've had her for 5 years, and it's the first time she's ever had the measles. Say, you better not get too close.
How come?
Because we're quarantined.
What's that?
Well, that's when nobody can go in or out or nothing.
Oh.
Is your father home, little boy?
I don't know, ma'am.
You don't know?
No, ma'am.
Well, would you mind going in and finding out?
I can't.
You can't.
No, ma'am. I don't live here. I live here.
Well, could I see your father?
Well, what do you want to see him about?
Well, I thought I might interest him in one of these lovely encyclopedias. You know, every home should have one.
Encyclopedias? Well, he ain't home. And besides, we got measles.
Measles? Excuse me.
See you later, Larry.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Martin, why?
Are you married?
Why, I don't understand.
Well, you ought to know whether you are or not.
Well, I'm not. But I don't see why you should ask me.
I just wondered. You see, you could see my father if you came up the house around supper time.
Well, thank you. Where do you live, little boy?
751, and I'm not a little boy.
Of course you're not.
But you said I was.
Well, that's because I didn't realize how really big you are.
Oh, that's where I live.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I'll be back.
Yes, ma'am, only... Would you do me a favor?
Well, if I can.
When you come to the house tonight, would you mind not wearing that hat?
Thanks for the tip.
You're welcome.
Just too precious.
Yes, ma'am.
Why, they're rabbits.
Yes, ma'am, all of them.
Oh, and I love them so. Oh, you're young Master Bill, aren't you?
I'm Bill.
Oh, I'm Mrs. Jones's sister, Miss Burbridge. I just arrived today.
You going to live there?
For a while.
Gee, that'll be swell. You'll have to come over and see us. I mean, I'd like to have you meet my father.
Why, Bill, I'd just love to.
You ain't married, are you?
Why, no.
I'm glad of that.
Well, how funny.
It ain't funny. You couldn't be a hair of a dog that bit him if he was married.
A hair of a dog that... Well, whatever are you talking about?
Do you like to go fishing?
Why, I don't know. I don't believe I ever have.
You've never been fishing?
No, but maybe I could learn.
Well, maybe. My father likes to shoot, too.
Shoot?
Pigeons, mostly. Clay ones. Boy, can he wham 'em.
Oh, dear. I'm afraid I'd be afraid of a gun.
Yeah, I suppose. I bet you like to dance, though.
Well, of course, don't you?
Nah. Dad don't neither. Dancing's for women.
Oh, but Bill, they have to have somebody to dance with.
Huh? Oh, yeah, I suppose. Maybe you'd better wait a bit, though, before you come over and see us.
Well, what do you mean? I thought you wanted me to meet your father.
I did, only, even if you was to, I don't believe it would do much good. One for you and one for me.
Hello, Lucy.
One for you and one...
Gee, it'd be awful, wouldn't it?
What would be awful?
If Dad didn't come home to dinner tonight.
It'd be plumb regular.
You mean he might not come home?
Don't look at me. I've been fixing his favorite greens for over a week now, and he ain't been home to supper yet.
But he's got to come home tonight.
Why? What you so dressed up for?
Nothing.
You ain't been slicked up like that before. What's about to happen?
You know something funny? We ain't got an encyclopedia in the house.
Well, what's funny about that?
Well, every home should have one.
Says who?
Miss Morton. I guess she ought to know. She sells them. I met her today. She ain't bad looking either.
Yes, I know. I seen her traipsing up and down the street the whole day. So that's what she sells.
You think my father might like her?
Your father wouldn't like an angel if it was twin-motored. What make you ask that?
Well, you see, I invited her over tonight.
You know your pappy ain't gonna like that. You know he don't like women.
Yeah, I know. You think he'll be sore?
He's been sore ever since. Ever since. Wait a minute, I'll go.
No, never mind, I'll get it.
Hello, Bill.
Well, was there something you wanted, Miss Hunter?
I thought I'd drop by and have a chat with your father.
He ain't home.
He isn't home, Bill.
That's what I said.
No, you said he ain't. I'll wait. May I come in?
It'd be no use in your waiting. He almost never comes home for supper anymore.
Oh, well, then I'll come back some other time.
Yes, some other time would be fine.
Goodbye, Bill.
Who was that?
Gee, talk about nerve. That was Miss Hunter.
Miss Hunter?
My school teacher. She wanted to see my father. You old bag.
What you been doing?
I ain't been doing nothing.
Uh-huh. That's probably just the trouble.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm terribly sorry. I guess I didn't see you.
Oh, that's a good guess. Maybe I ought to get a bigger car.
You Mr. Bruce?
That's right.
I'm Miss Hunter, Bill's teacher.
Oh, I've heard about you.
I'm afraid you haven't heard very much that's complimentary.
If you get into my car and release the brake, I think I can get this loose.
All right.
What's Bill been doing now?
Nothing in particular. Everything in general. This is all my fault.
No, it's all right.
Let me see.
Sort of jumped up and bit me.
If you put a little cold water on it, it'll...
Look at that, will you? And after practically ruining Dad's car. Doggone, don't you hate school teachers, Lucy?
I don't rightly know. I don't expect I ever had one.
You're lucky. School's no fun. Why do you have to learn how to do arithmetic when they got adding machines? Uh-oh. That's fine. She hadn't done enough damage. Now she's coming in here with him.
We're going to turn over a new leaf, Miss Hunter. Aren't we, Bob?
You say so.
I say so. No more hooky, no behaving like a hoodlum, and we're going to do our homework even if we have to do it together. Right?
Right.
You know, Bill was one of the brightest boys I ever had at one time. Well, it was nice of you to have me after I made such a poor start. But really, I must go. You see, you have only your own homework to do. I have to go over the homework of 30 of you.
Well, thank you for coming.
You're not angry with me, are you, Bill?
I guess not.
All right, let's shake on it.
Well,
Okay.
I'll see you to the door.
Good night, Bill.
What do you think of that? He actually made me shake hands with her.
Well, it didn't hurt you none, did it?
That isn't it. But of all the dames in the world, a school teacher. If I had 2 apples and gave half of one to A and 3/4 of one to B and 1/4 to C, how much would I have left?
Shucks. If you'd done the division, you'd probably have practically the whole business left.
Oh, it's you.
Well, good evening, Bill.
I kind of didn't think maybe you'd come over.
Well, I just thought I'd do the neighborly thing. You know, I did so want to meet your father. Oh, may I come in?
Well, I guess so. But you won't have much fun.
Oh. Oh, what a charming room. May I sit down?
I guess so. You can sit over there.
Well, aren't you going to sit down?
I guess I ain't very tired.
Is your father home now?
He's home all right, only... Uh-oh, there's a bell. I guess it's my father. He's awful busy, you know.
Well, hadn't you better see?
Yeah, I was just going to, and... Hello.
Hello. I was just passing by.
You want to come in?
Well, after all, you asked me to.
Well, I guess so, only it's getting kind of crowded.
Crowded?
Yeah, I didn't think anyone was going to come tonight.
Oh, is there something doing tonight?
There will be as soon as my father gets here.
Was that the doorbell?
What, Dad?
I thought I heard the bell ring.
You did, Dad. Twice. I think maybe you better come down, Dad.
Right away.
This is Miss Burbage, who lives next door, sister.
Well, I'm Margaret Vance. How do you do?
How do you do?
Where's your uniform?
Oh, I only wear that when I'm working. Uniform?
Yeah, we buy our sodas off her down at Schultz's drugstore.
Schultz's? Oh, yes, I believe my sister does trade there.
Not since we started having a 5-cent deposit on a bottle.
Would you like to sit down?
I'm afraid I won't be able to stay very long, Bill.
You won't?
Oh, well, I won't either. I just dropped by and...
That's the doorbell.
All right, Bill, I'll get it.
Okay, Dad. Dad will be right down. I better go now.
Good evening.
Is this Mr. Bruce?
Oh, yes, it is.
How do you do, Mr. Bruce? Your dear little son told me that you would be interested in one of our beautiful encyclopedias, and that this would be the ideal time to find you at home.
Oh, yes, but,
Uh-oh, it's her, Miss Morton.
You sure fix things up, Brown.
Golly, how did I know they'd all come at one time?
Well, that's something I expect you'll have to explain to your dad.
Oh. Gee, Lucy, I thought Dad'd be lonesome.
There's one thing a lonesome man don't need most awfulest is a chattering bunch of females.
And now, for a limited time, what with the world changing the way it is nowadays, these sets are really going for a song. And particularly to those homes where there are children.
Yes. Did you say that Bill asked you to call?
Why, yes. And,
He's such a droll lad, isn't he? He asked me to call, too.
Me, too.
Oh, he did, eh? Well, would you ladies excuse me for just a second?
Yes, of course.
Of course.
Yeah. Uh-oh, here he comes now. I just remembered I gotta do my homework.
How you gonna do your homework without your school books?
That's right, I'll do my mental arithmetic.
Bill? Where's Bill?
Bill?
Bill!
Did you call me, Dad?
Would you mind explaining what this is all about?
What, Dad?
Sudden deluge of chattering, clattering females?
It's not about anything, Dad. I just invited them to come over sometime.
And how many of them did you invite to come over sometime?
Well, there was, Miss Burbridge and,
Now, look. They're your idea. Suppose you go in and entertain them.
Shucks, I didn't invite Miss Hunter over, and you had her stay for dinner.
Now, never mind Miss Hunter. That was business, and besides, she's gone. Now, you started this. You're going to finish it. Get along.
All right, only, are you sure you don't want to handle it?
I was never so sure of anything in my life.
But, Dad...
Now, you heard me. You started this thing. You invited them. Now, you get rid of them.
Are you sure you think you're making a mistake?
Oh, isn't he cute, though?
The very image of his father.
Somewhere?
Yeah, anywhere.
Mr. Bruce, he meant well. He just figured you're kind of lonesome, I expects. Said something about the hair of the dog that bit you. You can't get mad at him for that. He sure is powerful fond of you, Mr. Bruce.
Is that what this is all about?
Sure it is. Only I guess maybe his foot slipped. Shucks, Mr. Bruce. He knows how lonesome you've been, and he kind of figured if you got yourself another woman, you'd probably be happy like you was before.
Oh, did you say you were selling books, dear? Encyclopedias, darling.
Well, at that, I guess it's better than jerking sodas for a living.
Sodas? Oh, my dear.
Oh, say, would you like to see my snakes?
Snakes? Did you say snakes?
Live snakes?
Well, Bill, what on earth's wrong with you?
Is there something wrong with me?
Tell me, child, don't you feel well?
I guess I feel all right. Why?
Oh, but your face, all those red marks.
Oh, that. That's just measles.
Measles? Oh, well, goodbye. I think I'd better go, Bill. Give our regards to you. Goodbye.
Bye. Oh, Dad! Dad! Well, they're gone, Dad.
What, already? Hey, what's the matter with your face?
That's what did it.
Gracious sakes alive, it's the measles.
No, it ain't. It's crayon. Look. It comes off. You ain't sore at me, are you, Dad?
Of course not. And listen, little fella, I love you.
Gee, Dad.
Honey, from now on, you let me pick my own women. Come on, Bob, I'll drive you to school.
You will?
Sure, only step on it.
How'll I get home?
Oh, I'll stop by and pick you up.
Okay.
You behaving yourself in school these days?
Sure I am. Is that why you're driving me to school?
What do you mean?
Well, I figured maybe you wanted to check up on me with Miss Hunter.
Oh, nonsense. Have I ever checked up on you before?
No. Only you never drove me to school before either.
Well, it just happens I have time this morning, that's all.
Oh. It's funny, though, if you ask me.
Now, what's funny about it? I drive right past there, don't I?
Yeah. But you always drove right past there before, too.
Well, since Miss Hunter and I had our little talk, I'm more interested, that's all.
Oh.
By the way, how is she?
Who?
Miss Hunter.
Oh, her. She's always the same. All school teachers are alike.
Oh, I don't know. She struck me as being pretty nice.
Yeah, I know.
What do you mean, you know?
Well, you invited her to dinner, didn't you?
Well, that was the polite thing to do, wasn't it? After all, we've got to be diplomatic in these matters.
Diplomatic?
Well, yes. Your mark's been pretty bad lately, and, well, I thought if we were nice to Miss Hunter, why, she'd give you better ones.
Oh, so that's the reason, huh?
Well, of course. What else?
Hi, Bill. Hiya, Larry. Thanks, Dad. See you later.
Right. If I can't make it, I'll send Percy for you, but I'll try to make it.
Okay.
Good morning.
Hello, Mr. Bruce.
How are you?
Fine. How's your hen?
Oh, I'd forgotten all about it. I just thought I'd drop around and see how Bill was making out.
Oh, he's doing ever so much better. He's a good scout inside, really.
They don't come any better.
I kind of figured he was too pleasant about driving me to school.
He's checking up on you if you ask me.
Maybe he likes Miss Hunter.
A school teacher?
You're crazy. Well, she ain't so bad.
It's good of you to take such an interest.
Well, I'm the boy's father, after all.
Weren't you always?
Well, I guess I'd better go now.
You'll come back again?
Well, would it be too soon if I came back tonight?
Well, I don't imagine I'll have very much to report.
Well, I wasn't thinking about that. I was wondering if possibly you'd care to have dinner with me.
The last time, Bill was very unhappy all through dinner.
Well, who said anything about Bill?
Well, if they don't make Bruce governor after this, I'll eat him.
What did Malvern say when they picked him up?
Well, the usual line that all big shots use. He's going to get the whole department for this from the commissioners down. Nobody squeals like a big shot racketeer. You pin one little rap on them and they all yell mama.
This is the biggest thing that ever happened in this town. And Bruce never raised an eyebrow. You'd think he went around every day pulling in big shots, in bunches like bananas.
Uh-oh.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Well, he ought to be happy.
Have another guess. He's pulled big stuff before without a whistle.
Good morning. This kind of a morning makes a man feel glad to be alive.
It is?
Well, isn't it? Just the right tang in the air, right sunshiny morning.
And Malvern in the cooler.
Malvern. Oh, how is our big shot this morning?
There's a bunch of Ritz as long as your arm already.
File them. In the wastebasket. Mr. Malvern is to remain incommunicado until we get enough on him to hang him.
Then what are you going to do?
Hang him. I'll see you later, John.
Right.
You know, this is the first time in a long while that I feel good. Like myself again.
What's her name?
Oh, nonsense. I just feel good, that's all.
Then I'm sorry. I'm going to have to spoil it for you.
You couldn't. Nobody could.
Have a look at these photos.
What are they?
Just a few photographs. High spots in the life of Lewis Malvern. A few members of his gang, a lieutenant or two, and his moll, I guess you'd call it.
What's this picture of Mrs. Bruce doing here?
That is the present Mrs. Malvern.
You mean my ex-wife is now...
That's right. They were married the day after you were divorced. It's going to complicate things, isn't it?
Anybody know about this?
No one outside the department.
The newspapers? Yes?
This is Tracy, Chief. What time do you want to see Malvern?
I don't know yet. Better put a special detail on him. And no visitors. Understand?
Right, Chief.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. Yeah?
They're expecting you in the grand jury room at 11.
I can't make it. I'm not ready yet. It's too soon.
Yes, sir.
Tell them I'll let them know when I'm ready.
Yes, sir.
Well, go on. What are you waiting for?
Yes, sir.
Is it okay if I start calling you governor now? Sort of get used to it, you know.
What do you want?
Well, some of the newspaper boys are out there. Is it okay if I send them in?
I've nothing to say.
Something the matter, Chief?
Matter? What should be the matter? Just got nothing to say, that's all. That's reasonable, isn't it?
Yes, ordinarily. But when you knock off a big guy like Malvern, naturally the news...
I have nothing to tell them that they don't already know.
Yes, sir. You are going to take him in front of the grand jury at 11, though.
I'm not ready.
You're not? But you told the boys that...
And now I'm telling them something else.
Yes, sir.
You're not eating a thing.
Why, I'm not very hungry.
What's wrong?
Not a thing. I probably had lunch a little late.
Oh.
No, that's not the truth. There is something wrong.
I was sure of it.
Because I'm not hungry?
Scratch a schoolteacher and you'll find a psychologist. Of sorts, anyway. Your name is on everybody's tongue tonight. You've just accomplished the biggest job in the history of the district attorney's office. Yet I've never seen you so unhappy as you are right now. Oh, there'd have to be something wrong.
It's downright good deducing. I just found out that Louis Malvern is married to my ex-wife, Bill's mother. You're so good at deducing, maybe you can figure out what that'll mean to the boy when the newspapers find it out.
Must they find it out?
There's no way of keeping it from them. Once I bring Malvern to trial.
But you've got to bring him to trial.
That's why I'm not hungry.
Bob, I was just thinking, how are you going to tell Bill?
Well, I'm not going to tell Bill.
He's going to find out sooner or later. How long do you think you can keep it from him?
I don't know. Don't you understand? I don't know. I've got to think.
Of course. I'm sorry.
Why? I didn't mean to bark at you like that. I'm just disturbed, that's all.
Of course, I understand. You'll find a way out, I'm sure.
I hope I will.
If there's anything I can do to help,
You've helped more than you know. Just listening.
Money talks? Who's this guy Bruce not to listen?
You can't keep $1 million in jail, you know that.
Sure, try him or let him go. That's what I say. Why, the guy wouldn't even talk.
How long does he think he can keep stalling?
Hey, hold it. How does it stand, Mr. Bruce?
Listen, we gotta...
Why don't you try Malvern or let him go? Slip up, why don't you say something?
I'm sorry, I've got nothing to say. Nothing to say.
This isn't Germany, you know. Our readers have a right to know.
The trouble is they're right, Mr. Bruce. How long do you think you can keep stalling?
Are you running this office or am I?
I'm not trying to. Only they follow me home. They camp on my doorstep. I'm up to my hips in them when I go to lunch. They haunt the office out here. What can I keep on telling them?
Tell them nothing.
You've been telling them nothing for 5 weeks.
All right, then. Tell them I've left town.
That'd be swell, only you haven't.
But I'm going to. Phone Lucy. Tell her to pack a bag.
But they'll say you're running away.
All right. Maybe I am.
Mr. Bruce.
Phone Lucy.
Yes, sir.
DA leaves town as Malvern's sellout hinted.
Sell out my foot.
Well, if it isn't that, what is it? I'll admit I don't understand it. Do you?
I'm just a tourist here. Deal? Deal my foot. He ain't that kind of a man.
extraordinary idea. 2 to 1. Is that fair? Bill, you come with me.
Why don't you leave me alone? I can fight my own battle.
Bill. Bill.
Where'd you get the money to come up here?
Lucy gave it to me.
Well, you go back and tell Lucy to mind her own business. If I wanted you up here, I'd have brought you along.
Please don't let me go back, Dad. I don't want to go back. Honest, I don't. You don't know what they're saying about you. Please don't make me go back, Dad.
I don't care what they're saying about me. Let them say what they want. You belong back there in school, and that's where you're going.
But Dad...
I'm tired now, Bub. I got to get some rest. You go outside for a while. There's the train out at 11 o'clock in the morning, and I'll see that you're on it.
All right, Dad. All right.
This is the place. I expect you'll find him around somewhere.
All right, thank you. Hello, Bill.
You didn't have to come to me. I'm going back tomorrow.
I didn't come for you, Bill. I came to see your father.
About me?
I guess about him, mostly.
He's asleep.
Good. You see, I want to talk to you, too, Bill.
Your hair's fixed different, ain't it?
I'm glad you noticed it. May I sit down here?
I suppose so.
Would you sit down beside me?
All right. But you don't have to lecture to me. My pop told me I had to go back tomorrow, so I guess I have to.
I think you both ought to go back. Well, I don't know exactly how to tell you this, but you're a man, aren't you, Bill?
Sure I am. At least pretty near.
Well, your dad's in a jam.
Yeah, I know.
You mean he's told you?
No, he didn't exactly tell me. But he wouldn't be the way he is if he wasn't. What's wrong with him, Miss Hunter? Do you know?
Yes. I think you should know, too. And trying to do the very fine and brave thing, he simply sacrificed himself. I didn't think you'd want him to do that.
Of course I don't.
What have you been telling the boy?
Hello, Bob. Just what you should have told him weeks ago.
Well, then, as much as he's my son, you might have the kindness to let me be the judge of that.
I'm afraid at that moment I wasn't thinking of you. I was thinking of Bill and what they're doing to him because you wanted to spare him.
I believe that's my affair also.
Bill, I'd like to talk to your father for a second.
You heard her. Well, let's have it.
Have you any idea what they're saying to that boy back there?
Oh, I'm afraid there isn't much I can do about that. After all, a man has a right to handle a job as he sees best.
Well, if it's as easy as that, why aren't you back there facing it?
What's that got to do with it?
Well, it just seems to me that you're expecting that youngster of yours to face all the unpleasant things that you haven't got the courage to face yourself.
Is that all?
Sure. You can hide out up here. But aren't you sort of passing the buck to Bill?
If it wasn't for Bill and wanting to spare him, I wouldn't be here.
I'm afraid he's not going to thank you for that.
Not after that little talk you had with him, he isn't.
Wait a minute, Dad. I knew there was something wrong, only you should have told me what.
I'm sorry you had to hear this, Bub. I didn't mean for you to know.
But gee, Dad, why shouldn't I? After all, we've been in everything together. I'm your son. I'm not a kid anymore.
She had no business coming here, meddling.
She didn't mean anything wrong. It's fighting every day and getting called yellow and having to make cracks at me. I don't want that, Dad. They used to say you were a big shot, and now...
Yeah, I know what they're saying now, Bub. They're saying I'm crooked, I'm yellow. And that's only because they don't know why I've stalled this way.
But I know why you did, and I don't think you should.
It'll be all over the country that I'm going after your mother's new husband because he's your mother's new husband. How pleasant do you think that'll be for you then?
That isn't the reason you're going after this Mr. Malvern, is it, Dad?
Of course not. He's a thief and a racketeer.
Remember the professor, Dad? He was a smart old bird. Even you said so. He said, if you're right way down inside, you're right all over. Remember?
Yeah. I guess he was a pretty smart bird. Only he didn't have a young Bill that he loved better than anything in the world.
Boy, that smells good. Where'd you ever learn to cook over an open fire?
I spend all my summer vacations doing this.
Most girls get smoking theirs. First thing, right off the bat. But you're all right.
Thanks. I think you're all right, too. You can certainly handle a boat.
Yeah, but I only caught 2 trout.
You know, I don't think you used the right bait.
Say, something smells just too good. Boy, look at those trout.
And can she fish? 9 of them, boom, just like that.
Yeah, and something Cincy tells me she knows what to do with them after she's caught them.
How do you feel?
A lot better, thanks.
Can you manage a little dinner?
You mean to say you're only going to give me a little dinner?
Oh.
How do you feel, Bub?
Swell, Dad. But what are you going to do?
Well, Miss Hunter and I had sort of a conference, and I think we should all go back.
You too?
Yeah, the whole kit and boodle of us.
I'm glad.
Are you glad?
Sure I am, Dad. Honest.
You're all right, Bub.
We'll come up here again, Dad, won't we? The 3 of us.
Why, sure we'll come up. The 3 of us. That is, providing Pat here is willing.
Pat, is that your name?
Well, it's my nickname.
Oh, great. I thought it'd be Gwendolyn or something.
What do you say?
I can't think of anything I'd like better.
When will we come back?
When I've given Louis Malvern 99 years.
You mean you're not coming back to school?
Not for a little while, anyway. We're going up to my dad's camp fishing.
You and your dad?
Sure, and Pat.
Who's Pat?
My mother. My new mother.
Well, you got a nerve calling her Pat.
I guess I can call her Pat if I want to.
I wouldn't have a school teacher for a mother.
You couldn't. You had to take what you got. I picked mine.
He's swell.
It's just what I was going to say about you.